What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, I'm sure there were a lot of you like me who got super excited when you saw the title of this video. Jon Bernthal returning as Punisher to the MCU, especially right now, given the characters that have been introduced recently in Marvel Phase 4, is super exciting, and we're going to talk about why. But I think that might give us an idea as well as to how they're going to reconcile this character. As I was in post-production for this video, I realized I couldn't use a lot of the clips from the original Jon Bernthal Punisher series on Netflix because they're all so incredibly violent. This video would for sure be demonetized, and that's extremely important when you talk about keeping the integrity for the character, which Jon Bernthal himself weighed in on recently, said one of the conditions for coming back was that, and you can't have that kind of violence on Disney Plus, regardless of being outside of the PG-13 rating that they apply to movies. And that's why I think there is a clear path forward, and I'm going to explain not only my reaction to this news, where it came from, if we can trust it, but how I think Marvel is going to do just that. Reconcile the violence that earmarks his character, but present him in a way that works in the context of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're breaking it all down, Jon Bernthal's Punisher in the MCU, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content here at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Marvel breakdowns, Easter eggs, trailers, reviews, even watch parties, to the occasional industry insider scoop like we're reporting on today, and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below. That'll automatically enter you for all the giveaways, like the next PlayStation 5, which we're more than halfway to. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So one of the more recent tweets in the last 48 hours from what is now the most ubiquitous Marvel Studios scoopster, My Time to Shine Hello, definitely supplanting Roger Wardell and those who came before him as our main industry insider anonymous source. He's indicated that Jon Bernthal is coming back as Punisher in the MCU. Now, this is not the first industry insider to indicate that Jon Bernthal's Punisher would come back alongside Charlie Cox's Daredevil. And considering one already happened, it seems like that would tie to the other, and you want to give credit where credit's due. He's just the most recent to say so, and because of, again, being as ubiquitous as he's been, since as much as he got right in Spider-Man No Way Home, we're giving him a little more reverence than, say, your most recent Reddit leak. Now, I mentioned in the prologue that Jon Bernthal himself, and some of his more recent interviews, said he would be interested in coming back as Punisher in the MCU, only if they keep the integrity of his character intact. And I want to make it very clear that the integrity of his character is not just how violent the show was, but the violence in the show was doing right by the seriousness of his story and the character that he is. It's a part of his character arc, that violence. So while it's not all that needs to stay intact for his integrity, it is a main part in the portrayal of his character. If you've watched any of the series on Netflix his character was involved in, they are insanely violent. It goes way past being able to have blood on the screen, which a Marvel PG-13 movie cannot have. It is violent on a visceral level that just cannot be described. It's good. It's really good, but it is very violent. And we think about Jon Bernthal saying how important the integrity of that character would be and why he'd come back. Then you think about characters like Moon Knight and Black Knight, the possibility of a Midnight Suns, where you would take his violence and instead of shooting a bunch of people, he'd be shooting a bunch of werewolves or vampires or supernatural creatures. That's how they would spin this. You would end up having him be as violent as he was in the Netflix series, but instead of it against people, it's against monsters. And while of course that doesn't extend into how he would cross over, say, with like a Spider-Man in a Spider-Man film, that's a common comic crossover, but would really need to soften his character in order to show up in, say, Sony's iterations of Tom Holland's Spider-Man films, it would work in the context of the Midnight Suns and for now. But there are other series left to come where they're going to have to answer this question, namely the violence of Daredevil series. It wasn't not violent, maybe not as bloody, but super visceral violence. And of course Deadpool, who's already been a rated R label up till now, and no announcements whether he'll stay rated R going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've mentioned this many times at the channel, but haven't had a chance to weigh in on it recently. The raw statistics, the demographics of people who watch the majority of the MCU are well over the age ready to watch a rated R label. And of course, with Deadpool's success in that genre, strictly rated R, if they were able to do that and successfully at Disney and then integrate him into PG-13 projects and still keep his character intact, that's exactly how they could play something like the Punisher and or other characters that deserve that rated R label. But sitting on Disney Plus by itself would actually be a little weirder than, say, a movie that gets placed on there under some sort of parental advisory. Meaning, if they had an entire rated R Marvel series, it seems like they'd need a separate spot for that. That's why I've been saying for a long time that Marvel needs to introduce some sort of rated R, black label, whatever you'd want to call it, so that they can release rated R projects and have them clearly defined and marketed as that. Look, Marvel has expanded in every direction possible. And some of their characters, if they want to keep them comic accurate, really would do well by a rated R title. I also think doing rated R films is a slippery slope. I think PG-13 definitely keeps the brand on point, and I know there are going to be some of you who feel like I do in that respect, but I'm also pulling for them to do rated R movies. I think Deadpool needs to keep rated R, and if he did a Punisher show or a Punisher film and it was true to the character, it would need to be rated R as well. So regardless of how Marvel chooses to go forward, I do not think they will do a rated R label. I think that they will find a way to present these characters within the confines of PG-13 on the silver screen because it's on brand for them. And then as far as Disney Plus shows, I don't foresee Punisher ever getting his own show on Disney Plus because I don't foresee them ever being able to do what they did on Netflix. I see him being a secondary character or tertiary character on a main team that fights against supernatural demons, and that's about all I've got for you guys. It's kind of sad, but in lieu of not having him back in any other way, I'm for it. And if there are some of you out there who think that Marvel would ever step out and do something like what they did for the original Netflix series, I am all ears. I do not give them credit's the wrong word. I give them credit for sticking to what they know is right. I don't give them, there's a word for it, and I don't know what that word is. That's a risk I don't think that they should take. There's too much on the brand, and there's too much success wrapped up in the brand now to make that sort of huge, to deviate that much from the standard would actually be, I think that would be too much of a risk. I wouldn't take it. Plus, guys, we're talking about Disney, so let's keep it real. But as always, I will be so interested to see what you guys say down in the comments and all your thoughts about this. Rated R Marvel, yes, no. Jon Bernthal's Punisher, you agree with me, have it supernatural. Leave all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5. We're doing so now at every 20,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million. So instead of 100,000, we're doing it 5 times as frequently, 4 times as frequently. Either way, if you want to be entered to win for any other giveaways, all the same rules will always apply. All you have to do, hit that subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music, under the name All Fires. And while I'd sincerely appreciate you checking that out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.